May 20th, 1996. Our survivor is Hersh Hanfling.
I'm back in Brazil. In Brazil, I'm back in Mielec. And I want to mention a few things. The assessment, the Oberstufenführer was Schwandorf, and the commander from the Yiddish from the people was Friedman. He wasn't we weren't too happy with him. And besides this, otherwise, we came over there KL. It was one night everybody had to go through, and they tattooed a number KL on my right hand.
Which camp was this in?
This is in Mielec. And
could you show us your hands?
Yeah. And then it was something happy thing happened in Mielec. When I came to Mielec, I went in the washroom to wash. A man came over to me and asked me, "Where are you?" So I said, "I'm from Brazil." So he said to me, "Brazil? Yes, I know. 500 people came from Brazil because they liquidated Brazil that time." So then he asked me, from where are you from original? So I said, I don't know, Zakukov. I'm born in Rosvado. Rosvado. What's your name? So I started a little bit, what bothers me, I got a number from my Danek. So anyway, I said, well, my name is Hanfling. My father's name was Mordechai Hanfling. Then he got excited. I have a brother, Moshe Yaakov Hanfling, who's also from Rosvado. I said, yes, I had a brother. He said, he's here in this camp. Well, this was something that we stick together. He had a little bit better than me in this camp here, because he was working on the field, not in the work, not in the factory. He was outside with cars, washing cars or something like that. So he could help me out a little bit. And then I was in Mielec because the Russians went forward. They liquidated Mielec and took us to, in July, they took us from Mielec to Bielichka. In Bielichka, that time, I was already the commander from Brazil, Stockman, with all these people. They were in Bielichka. So over there I came to be a plumber. I took care of many different things in plumbing.
What were the conditions like in this camp?
In this camp, it reminded me something else. I left it out because from in Brazil, I left out a lot. Because from Brazil we went over from one camp into another near the factory where we worked. So over there we had already a Hauptsturmtier Leopold, and the Leopold came with this commando to Bielichka, and this man was very shrewd. He never killed anybody. And the food was also better. As a matter of fact, somebody died in this camp, so he gave an argument to the stockman, why should anybody die here? Like the Germans do, food is plenty, and nobody bothers, they're working, so why should they die? So he watched himself not to go to the front. He put a bullet in his foot, this leopard. So the leopard had to go to Bielichka. So, in general, it was not too bad. There was two kids from Bosnia. They hide themselves in the salzgruben, in the salt things over there where they work, and they catch them. And he didn't want to kill him, so he sent them to Plashes. And Plashes they killed. But he watched himself, but everybody says that he was from the people who killed Poniatic, Travnik, Racho, and Majdanek. And I forget this to mention also that this man, what happened to us, a very big thing. It was before him. It was an SS man, Polsche, and he took us from this camp into another camp in more modern.
How did you travel from camp to camp?
Walking. And the night before, everybody had a faith because they said we're going to have some pashatis. Before we had just plain civilian, but it was marked with red paint across all over, and a Ausenschreiber, they call it cutting the hair in the middle. In that time they said we're going to wear this uniforms, concentration camp. So a few people started to go to the wires, and they cut the wires. The minute they cut the wires, the SS started to shoot. We saw it about 47 people got killed that night.
Did anybody escape?
No. Nobody could escape because they caught him right between the wires. So we went to this camp, that I wanted to mention. Yeah. And another thing, before this, he came out with an order to close the barracks at night. So it was open, we had to go to the toilet, we could go. But he said it's going to be closed from outside. He took a 2x3 or 2x4 to close up the bag. Then he said another night, because he gave an order to dig ditches. We had a couple of ditches over there. So another night came out, he said, look, if you're going to hear shooting, don't scare. Get dressed and lay down on the floor. Many different things like this. Prototypes. We didn't know. But he didn't understand what the ditches are. They said it's going to be for winter time because for winter time this is going to be for the potatoes to put it inside, to have it. But when in November, was it 19? It was November, I think, 1943, I think, something like that. So when all of a sudden, they took off this 2x3 and they made us free again. You can go at night to the toilet. But we find out that the commander was here to kill us because we knew already that they took it out from Majdanek or from Poniatic to 100 people to the ditches and they killed them. So they wanted probably to take it out to 100 people, 50 people to the ditches. And this, I have to give credit to a meister from the village, the main meister, something like this. The main meister, he had probably a voice in Berlin. That's what they said. And he called up, he was in touch, and the commander left. He saved all the people. Stefan. His name was Stefan. So here I'm in the Berlin again. So I'm in Mielec now. From Mielec I went to Wieliczka, and from Wieliczka we had in Leopold. In Wieliczka we were about there about 12 weeks of September. And
what was the weather like?
The weather was not winter because it was good weather. It was July. We came over there came to July. Yes, July. We came to Wieliczka.
How many people were in this camp?
In Wieliczka, it wasn't too many. It could be a couple of hundred, 600, 800. Of course, all the people from the team, they transferred into Radium, to Majdanek again, to different places. Everybody went someplace else. We were over there probably about 600, 800 people.
How old do you think was the oldest person in the camp?
The oldest people, I know the youngest people, if you're going to ask me. The youngest people was probably 7 years. And matter of fact, I got a picture of him. He is alive, and he's in Israel. Jeremiah Arbus is his name. And the fact is, he had many different in his head. He left 2 kids to be with the chickens or with the gans, with the cars. Left. They shouldn't say that he liquidated everything. They had a lot of Greek, Muslim. His mother and 3 sisters. They were liberated. Many different camps there were. And was another thing. Fikes used to go around in the barracks to look for kids.
That's in Budzin?
Budzin. Yeah. And they came into the women. It was one barrack. It was about 400 women. And it was a woman. She had a girl. I don't know, maybe 10 years old or younger. And he went to grab this kid. And the mother didn't let. He took out the gun, he killed the mother, and he left the girl. And the girl had a father, and they were liberated. The father, I don't know their life, but he told Stockman he should watch this girl. This is different. Now I'm back to Yerichka. From Yerichka, they needed they liquidated. They took us to Plaszow. In Plaszow, I was over there only 3 weeks, but this was the worst thing I did in my life. In Plaszow. They took us, took 2 shifts, at night and day. I was the first night, it was Rosh Hashanah B'Nacht, I think it was, and took us into a place where they used to call this Chuyowa Górka, Polish. And it was over there one hill, and here hill, and it was down, They filled up this place with 1,000 bodies, killed all the time. But that time, they took people to dig it out, this death. To bring the place, burn it. So the first night I went inside, there was about 40 or 50 people were in this place, with shovels, picks. I thought, if I'm going to find one, who knew? I didn't know nothing. I tried little bit, but upstairs was standing already couples, not the Jewish couples, it was Verbrecher, criminal couples, Germans. There were in Plaszow already different people, different Germans. They were, criminals. So they were the couples on that. And he took a shovel. And he started to hit everybody. I'm going to show how to do it. And he showed us. And you see a bad body, take the killer, put it right away in, pull it up. I'm telling you, I got sick over it. I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat, nothing. Who knows, maybe my mother down there. I don't know. And usually, after a couple of weeks working over there, they liquidated it. The people who was, they should no sign. Glad I was, happy that I had luck. They needed some mechanics. And here I'm a mechanic. I'm a Schlosser, what they say. And they took out 400 Schlossers. I was between them, and they took us with the train. Well, to Auschwitz, but we didn't went into Auschwitz. We were standing on the train, maybe a couple of hours. We went straight to Schachwitz, in Plaszow. Straight to Schachwitz, and over there, they brought some people from the Russian army, what was this they catch from the army, from the Russian army pilots. It was already Russians, French, another 400. You have 400 Jews, 400 different nationalities, French, Italian, all of this. In this camp, I was the plumber, the only one plumber. And the camp was on the sector, and this camp is shut. This was a branch from Forsenburg. All the SS came from Forsenburg, and we got the number from Forsenburg.
What was your number?
22 0 22 0 22 0 22 0 2 22 0 02. This was the number, my number. Forgot a little bit. And over there, the camp was on the top from the sector. And every day, like usually, you have a pill in the morning, you have a pill by lunchtime, you have a pill at night when you're going back to the camp. And the camp was no showers. It was just a laundry a little bit, you could wash. It was a tank. I had to open up the water. It's not automatic. I had to open up the water. It was electric, a little bit warm to make warm this water. So I was the man who would take care of it. And I had to go to eat. I had to do something I did something that I was very in danger. I have to mention this. I figured I have to go to eat to the uphill. I have to go to the lodge. And here upstairs, I'll open up a little bit the faucet. It's going to fill it up, so there will be a little water downstairs, and they going. Then I have to get food, not to stand in the uphill for it. So I did it like this. And standing on the uphill, and over there was running water, and underneath our washroom was the SS office. And here comes the Oberschlag with the SS man. Come over. Rolege. The plumber. Yeah, they called me Rolege. And I come right away. Get me one in this side, one in this side. And I start to scream and all, so much water out there. So I said to the commander, to the Jew, I said, how can I be responsible for what's going on upstairs? That somebody is remaining upstairs and opens up the water and just he said, ab heute, from now on, I have to get my food, not to stand in the Rhine, and I have to be upstairs all the time. So it was good for me. So then I say, I have to mention another thing. I saved this camp. I don't like to make to me, a hero. This is not a hero. This is something I have to mention. It was no water to wash. It was a faucet. One faucet was in the basement, not even in the basement, around the werk over there. And Sunday they took down in an elevator, a big elevator, it was a commercial elevator, took down all the time 20 people or 15 people down. They didn't even have to put on a little water. And they said, Ivan the Tiger used to call him. I forgot to mention Ivan the Tiger, the couple who was in Plaszow. He was the couple over there too. So he was standing with a chair up, fast. People started to get white looks, sickness. So I said, because I was in the basement, I saw in the sector, I can make it from the sector hot water, I can make it shower. So I went to the commander, the Jewish commander, and I told him, look, if I can make a shower, and people could wash themselves. So this he talked to the assessment. The assessment, by the way, next day called me on what I want to do. I said I can make it off to hang down a pipe and to make showers. Showers within there. So I said I need to have a man, a welder, and I need to have a one man to help, two men. But that time I didn't know how to build, to make showers, and that's what they gave it to me. They hanged up the showers, 14 showers, and every Sunday people they went down and they washed themselves, and this take this thing. Yes. And I had to run in over there to watch the showers, to turn on, to turn off, and they gave me even to take to every week or every 2 weeks they gave us shares, something like this. What kind of shares they were, but they were washed anyway. So I was the man over there, and this was in Sharkfish. I was till 1945 till April.
And then where did you go?
And then they started to bombard Dresden. Everybody knows Dresden had the biggest bombardment in the war at that time. And they started with at night and day. 3 nights. The Americans went at night. The Americans went they went the day, and the Englishmen went at night. Straight. And they bombarded, and they hit our sector too. And we started to burn. The minute it started to burning, right, the Germans came in and they started again. But the second time, they started to bombard again. It's a couple of people got killed over there from us too, because the minute it started bombarding, it started to run. Everybody on the top of the other one, you could stand it up. So it's about 2 or 3 people got just running. So
what sort of factory was this that was bombed?
Kings, I think it was. I think.
What was this camp like?
Our camp was on the top of this sector, and big, as a big hole, and with beds, one on top, two. Of course, there was only 800 people at the time.
And where was this? What was the location?
The location near Dresden.
It was nearby.
Near Dresden, it's about 5 kilometers, something like this. And it was all the factors around, because transformers or something like this. So transformers, they throw big bombs, and mostly in the factories they throw the balloons, the candle light, what they call this. I don't know. But anyway, and April the 20th, I think was it, and they took us and on the march. With the march alongside the Elbe, we came over to Sudeten, Czechoslovakia, Sudeten Deutschland, they call this. As we come into Auschwitz, that time, as we come into Auschwitz, in the beginning of the town, the airplanes started to bombard Auschwitz. So the SS pushed us into the woods over there, and when they stopped about 1 o'clock, middle of the day, so took us right away, march. We couldn't march anymore in Auschwitz until 5. We marched once, because what? Whole, everything. And over there was a bridge, and we had to cross the bridge from the Elbe, and we marched farther. But on the way, I have to say it this way, whoever, we were hungry, there's no question about it, but thirsty was terrible.
How long was this march?
8 days. We marched from over there to Leitmeritz. But on the march from over there till Auschwitz, or after Auschwitz, till Leitmeritz, it was water, underwater. It was a little water. If somebody told himself just to take a drink, touched him, didn't kill him, fished him, killed him like this, not with a gun. Got in the water, left him over there, and that's it. So finally we came to Leitmeritz, and Leitmeritz was a big camp full of a lot of people over there, and Poles, Jews, all nationalities. I remained over there only a couple of days, maybe 3 days. Then they picked up the Jews only, and they said, "You're going to Theresienstadt." Theresienstadt? That's what they're going to liquidate us, and that was the plan. The first night when we came into Theresienstadt, they put us in bunkers, it was bunkers in Theresienstadt that you didn't have no light at all. So you forget to know they're going to Gesas or something like this. No.
How many of you were left from that camp in Theresienstadt?
In Theresienstadt? Theresienstadt was not from us alone.
No, but when you arrived, how many from your original group?
From the original group, I would say from the original group, because all the original group was 400 Jews, and the other ones was Polish, and they remain in Leibniz. So from my group, I would say maybe 100 or 80 something like that. But I'm not in touch with it. I know a few people, like I mentioned, that one is here in Kanas, in Brooklyn lives, one Isaac is his name. One lives in Muncie, Balsam, Mendy Balsam. This group, I don't see too many. In Yelet, if you want to see this number, there's many people, because they want in different camps. There's more and more, a lot of people. It could be from Yelet, from this number, you can have maybe 200. Because they went, don't forget, from Yelet, but they had the KL, or from Bazin, a lot of them, they went to Schindler's, what they say, Schindler's, from Plashes. They took him over there to work. And I got a friend in Borough Park. He was Brinitz working for Schindler. Yes.
What happened in Theresienstadt?
In Theresienstadt, it was 2 weeks later. In the 2 weeks, it was bad. I mean, when I came into Theresienstadt, I came in like into another world, because I saw girls. I haven't seen girls from 1939, and here I see girls and good clothes and everything else. As a matter of fact, they cut my hair, and they gave me clothes and.
What kind of clothing?
Clothes, plain clothes. I think I had in the warehouse over there. And the food was like in a camp, a little bit better, because Theresienstadt was a model ghetto for the war. And that's why they kept it. And it was even Jewish money. It was Rabbeinu, Moshe Rabbeinu.
Did you see that money?
I gave it to original. I gave it to my son, and I got the copies. I got it. So it was a joke. You couldn't buy anything, but this is you could buy a coffee. That's what they said. You know. So when they throw bread a lot of times, they throw, and they brought people from Buchenwald, from Dachau, from all over. It was about 30,000 people that time. And what the people said, that they're going to liquidate. And the matter of fact is, after a while I find out that they wanted to liquidate us, but the SS, he saw that the last minute. So they didn't liquidate, they gave it over to the Red Cross. And the Red Cross...
We're going to stop now. '20th, 1996, and our survivor is Hersh Hanfling. Could you tell us how long you stayed in Theresienstadt?
In Theresienstadt, we stayed about 2 weeks. And then we are liberated through the Russians. The Russians came in, as a matter of fact, they came in a day before, because the assessment didn't want to liquidate us, and they gave it over to the Red Cross, and the Red Cross notified the Russians, and the Russians went faster, and they came a day before, and we were liberated through the Russians.
What was that like for you?
It was, for me, like a brilliant person. Wild, very wild. I went over the tents and greeted the Russians, kissing them, you know, how did this? And we went just looking for food. And it was the Leitmeritz. We went from Theresienstadt on the way to Leitmeritz back. On the way, it was Volksdeutsche, means the German was over there living, and the houses they left. It was a lot of food over there. I could eat up a jar of strawberries in one time. But the people who did it, they didn't survive. The Russians tried to do the best, but they didn't have anything to give us right away. Till some from the French army came with trucks. So one time they came with margarine. So people eat margarine. Second time with sugar. They ate sugar. Lucky for me, my brother was a little bit smarter than me. He's 12 years older than me. So he stopped me. You're going to wait till it's going to be bread. And the people who ate wild, every day people died, fall away, died every day about 200. Interesting. After deliberation.
What was your physical condition at the time of liberation?
My physical condition was I was hungry. And I was still able to walk because Kazakhstan was more food than normal. And in the camps, less camps, I had better than somebody else too. So in general, I would say I was in good condition when I was about it. My brother was a little bit worse than me, but could go. And wild. I was very, very wild. And then we started to be sick. Even the Russian noticed us. And American trucks started to come in. And slowly, we get healthier. Then from over there, I went to Czechoslovakia. To Prague. In Czech. This was Sudetendeutschland, I believe. And this was Czech, Prague. In Czech. Wonderful people. The best people. If you ask a Czech, I want to go here, he took by the hand. He wanted you. Walking in Auschwitz, from Auschwitz to Leibowitz, was, bombarded the way it had to walk single. They told in papers, with a apple, a piece of bread, written down in the paper, it's closed. Be strong. Czech people. Yes. I got the best word for the Czech.
Did you ever return home?
No, not me. My brother went. He went back to his city to sell the house. He wanted to sell our house. And they wanted to give him $500 at the time. So my brother said, no, let us stay till Messiah is going to come. We don't need it. And as a matter of fact, I got some Polak who's got a store over there with bicycles. I didn't trust the Polak. No. I'm sorry to say that. That's all.
Were you ever able to locate any other surviving family members?
Yeah, a year later, because it went lists. Because when I was liberated in Kazakhstan, I went to Prague, like I said. In Prague, they organized a train to go to Israel, because the Jewish brigade was in Austria. So they smuggled us. They supposed to smuggle us to the ship to go to Israel, but it didn't happen because they took away the English people, the English brigade. They took away the brigade, and they didn't let us go to Salzburg at the time. So they took us to the train to Munich. In Munich, they sent us to Landsberg. So I was in Landsberg at that time.
What was this?
August 1945.
What type of place was this?
Landsberg was a BP camp. They took it over, this camp, from the soldiers. They used this, the camp was brick houses, two families, three families. So they took it over, and we took it for TP camp. It was about 5,000 people there in this camp. And
did you work?
Beginning I didn't work. I was wild. I didn't care for nothing anymore. Beginning I started to make business with our friends. It was Berek Turabini was his name. Our friends, we met each other, and we bought up the things from the army, from the American army. We sold it in different cities, sent it away, and make a couple zlotys, mark or something like this.
Were you able to resume your religious life?
That time, not. A couple of months, I was not religious, and I didn't believe in many things. Well, I was going on the train all over, didn't pay any tickets, and I didn't have to pay for the police, nothing. And one time when we made this business, we took the cans to the station, me and my friend, they asked what we got, because we couldn't say we got something. I said, Gemisa. Gemisa means vegetables. Vegetables we could send for it. But one time, from the post office, he wanted to know what is inside. I'll open up. No. So came in a policeman, Deutsch, German Deutsch, and he said, I want to open up. So my friend gave him a push, it fall from here over there. He didn't have to say, we were wild, you know. So a couple minutes later, the MP, American MP, and they arrested us, me and my friend. So I'll make it short. We were in a cell before into the right criminal, you know. So over there was a couple of people because they went at night because it was a curfew to over there time too. The American made the curfew. So I knew the people and I told them what to do to meet this guy and tell him the whole story. And I'm going to tell that I was the owner from these things. He doesn't know nothing, he's the other guy. So next day at the hearing, they took me to the jail. You know which jail? Where Hitler wrote his Mein Kampf. And in London. They showed me over there in the room where he was sitting before he became the chancellor. So this man, David Erl, I have to mention his name, he lives now in Bogota, Oakland. He was a wonderful man, single guy at that time. He just did good things for people to help, that's all. And he knows the Rabbi Rosenberg, I think, was the chief rabbi from the army, and he knows the governor from the whole Kreis, and they were talking to him. They took me out after 5 days or something like this. They took me out, we got a hearing, and that's it. And this was the end for my business. And I said to myself, I was liberated from this Gehenna. Do I have to make business? I don't want to do nothing. So a couple of months I didn't do nothing.
Did you get married?
No, I didn't want to get married. I didn't have nothing. What didn't get to get married? Plenty of girls had to get married. Well, people got married. I don't know. They saw a future. I didn't see no future.
When did you finally get married?
Oh, here in America. So over there is beginning. What to say? Yes. After this, I settled a little bit better. You know why? Because my brother came, and he wasn't over there. He came. He went to France because his wife had 2 sisters in France. So he came back. So he started to talk to me. Take the film, put it on, don't come. You know, like this. Don't put it on. Okay. So, listen. One time, I was sitting between 20 friends, smoking, and everything, talking. There was one guy. He was married before the war, had children, and he put on the film in college. And he said, I was thinking, hey, Bush, you still believe in God after they took away your wife and children? He said, hey, wait a while. Me is better than you. I'm better off than you. I believe in God. I'm going to go upstairs and I'll come over there. I'm going to rescue you. Why did you do this? You to whom are you going to complain? You don't believe in nobody? Don't complain. Oh, this went to my head. This is some idea. So slowly I went back. So this is, so I couldn't go anymore, nothing doing anything. So I figured I'm going to go towards Alsace-Lorraine in the deep end. I had German school. I was their leader over there, and they had to do the job. So I had a day, I worked a little bit around to show them what to do. And the other day, I went to Ort, Fachschule, you know, the school, what they teach many different professions. And I wanted to learn that time welding. As a matter of fact, I got in a journal from 1946. I got a journal from the German journal. And I was over there with the photo up there where I wrote. Because the journal, on the other side was Joe Louis, the fighter, and the picture.
When did you arrive in the United States?
In the United States, I arrived in 1950. And my contract was to go to Denver, Colorado. Because in order to go to America, you have to have a paper that you're going to have a place where to work. So they made it, the organizations, you know, the joint, the Hayas or something. And when I was 1950, I went by Georgia. I didn't know where to go. Somebody called me, let's go register for America. I didn't have nobody in America. What am I going to do here? But if you don't want to go, don't go. So I was, the last day, I saw the visa is going out because it's 4 months. I think a visa is. And if it goes out, then you have to wait another couple of years. So I was in Bremen. I went to Bremen. And they saw that my visa is going out. In my ship, I had to go to St. Louis because St. Louis is closer to Denver. So they grabbed me and they put me to New York because St. Louis went every 2 weeks. In New York, every 2 days. Shit, it is soldiers. So I went to New York and I was sitting on the train over there because I came in the morning and a train went to Chicago. I went 11 o'clock at night. And some women from the organization was with me over there. And I should go no place, and because they had a place, I would get lost. And so 11 o'clock at night, they put me on the train. I went to Chicago. Chicago was waiting a couple hours, and they put me to Denver, Colorado.
And how long did you stay in Denver?
1 year.
And what did you do there?
In the beginning when I came, so the organization rented a home for me, and they gave me something, $17, I don't remember, for how many days, not 10 days, a week, or a month, I don't know. So then I said to them, look, I'm a plumber, and can you see a job for me? Good enough. They found a job. Helmut was his name, and he was not religious, she was religious, and and I started to work on it, plumbing.
And then where did you go after that?
Then for Pesach, I went to my brother to Montreal because he got in Paris. It's a girl, her name is also Hanfling. And it's a whole story, but I didn't have no time to tell you the story. So she was an English citizen because she was originally a German citizen. She was in Berlin, but she was from the kids. But when Hitler came, you know, so they took a lot of kids to England. So she was in England, and her name was Hanfling. She is from Europe, distant family. And she got married at that time, so to go to Canada, she didn't need nothing.
So how long did you remain in Canada?
Oh, just over Pesach.
And then where did you go?
Then I came to New York because I knew my wife, as a girl from, not from Rotterdam, I knew the parents, and she, her name is Mirla, the name Asher, and she was in Brooklyn. So I came over here to meet her.
And when did you get married?
We get married in 1952, March 29, 1952. You think I remember this better?
Can you tell us about your children?
My children, lovely children. This was my future, my hope. I was the branch, and the branch started to give fruit. Then my older son, Mark, he was born. I was happy. You can imagine, nobody. And then he was born in January 24th, 1953. And then came we had another child, but we cannot mention. 6 weeks child was life. And then was born Philip Leon, his name. He was born October the 1st, 1962. And then came Rosalind Brenda. She was born March 24, in 1965. And they got married.
Can you just give me the names of your son-in-law and two daughters-in-law?
One son-in-law I got, his name is Jeff Lepoy. And my daughter-in-law to Mark, she's Lynn. Her maiden name was Sophie. And Philip got married with a lovely lady. This is the second marriage to her with a child, Kenji, and baby, and they got married, and he's got 2 children.
So how many grandchildren do you have?
Altogether, 10.
How would you describe your religious life now?
My religious life is very good. I'm not a chassid, like you say between all the clothes, but I'm a servant Jew. I don't work in Saturdays. I don't work in holidays. I eat kosher and go to daven. As a matter of fact, we got here not far away. I organized this festival, what they call this.
And what's the name of it?
The name is Georgetown Jewish Center. Small community. This. So I can just lot. And during the week we ain't got it here just Sunday and Saturdays and holidays. We got this meeting. And during the week I go to Rabbi Gruber in Tanasi and I down over there.
What achievement or accomplishment are you most proud of in your life?
In my life, what I accomplished the truth. The truth. I got good kids, very good kids, and I'm proud of it.
When were you first able to talk about your experiences?
I talked to people who were over there. I didn't talk to other people. No. Even my children. Yeah, the last time my daughter, my Mark's, my son's daughter, Habiba, she had to make a project in the school. And she insisted she wants to make where I was. This was the first time I talked to my children about it. It's a grandchild. So I gave it the map, and I explained it where I was at this and this. And good enough, this was the project in the school, and she puts this up, and a man who's got a child in this school goes by and sees, hey, my father was over there. The father was over there in the school too, see, because the kids make projects, many different things. And he calls this man, Mendel Balsam, calls him, his name Mendel Balsam, he lives in Muncie. He calls him in, he takes a look at the map, and you see, and the Tzvi Hersh Hanfling, yeah. I used to steal potatoes, 2 potatoes, someplace in a kitchen or something. They gave it to him, and he made him. He gave 1 potato to my brother, and 1 potato. So he's in Monsey, so me in Kochna. And I didn't see him since the liberation from, I met him last year. I was for Pesach, I was in a hotel over there, and not far away from Monsey. I called him up, he came. 50 years. Yeah.
What do you think gave you the strength to survive?
The strength to survive is I don't know, this is I think, it's not to understand. There was no suicide in camps. I don't remember a suicide. You wanted to live and to survive one day, to liberate, to eat a bread, and then you don't care about anything. But I have another thing, to build up a family, if I'm going to survive. I never dreamed that I'm going to survive. To people ask this is a dumb question. Somebody asked me a question, why didn't you run away? If somebody would see what they do to people, what they, they run away, they hang by their feet. I don't want to have no suffering. If it would give me a bullet, yes, everybody would try. You didn't afraid for a bullet. This was the strength. That's all.
Do you have any unusual fears or superstitions because of your experiences?
No, superstition, I ain't got nothing. I left everything away. Now, other times my wife, she's superstitious about this and that, not me, not afraid. I'm worried. I'm worried, not afraid, but I'm worried. For the children, I want many different things.
Do you have any dreams or nightmares?
Oh, a lot. The last thing I have to tell you a dream I had. Unbelievable. I saw my mother, my sister, in my dream, pushing her carriage. That night, I was by Reisen, by my daughter. I was sleeping over there. I was babysitter for them or what? I was over there. So I think it was cities, they all got together. They were all pregnant. They're talking, what you going to do? What you going to do? So I surprised you're going to have a girl. Why? So Lynn asked me what I'm going to have. I don't know. What Tessie? I don't know. So what do we do? Either you say yes, but I didn't say nothing, not a word. Nobody about this dream. Because I didn't want to say this about the dream. Actually, maybe I'm going to obligate them to give a name to my mother. But Reisi got my mother's name. Maybe Zisa. I didn't want it. But I had to mind that. Maybe this was the dream. And you wouldn't believe it. And Tessie had this girl. She gave her name. My son gave her a name, Zisa. I cried. Then later around, I don't know if I told all of them, but I told them what happened. Later on, not right away. But dreams, you got a lot of dreams. Run. Six, because it was a signal in camp. In concentration camp. You say 6. You knew already that they're always here as you run. This is headache. This is not going to go away. This is already normal. So I didn't sleep nights. I took I wanted to be with my family. Under the pillow. I didn't want to see my kids crying. That's what the time was. That time to cry. But it was going on like this in 1984. And I said to myself, you better stop. I got sick that time. First of all, they told me I got angina. Second one, I got sick. My son started to go into school, the doctor, and I asked him something. I feel like a heart, well, something. He looked at it. You have to go right away to the doctor. Made an appointment in NYU. Dr. Derek. He didn't know the doctor, but he asked people. And before he even took pictures, he said, this is cancerous, and you have to make a biopsy. Made a biopsy without anything. Next day, that is cancer. That is figured out. After this, he made pictures. That's why I didn't like it. I didn't like this doctor. The way he handled it, I didn't like it. So I said to myself, it looks better. There's a hospital, stone cancer. Cancer, there's a hospital specialized in cancer. So he made an appointment with a Dr. Kinney. He's a chief doctor in surgery, breast surgery. So I went over there, made an appointment. I won't try to make an appointment in the morning room with a lady, because who goes to breast cancer? Once in 100, 1%. So made another appointment, and he made the operation. They didn't find anything here in the front, but he said to me like this: "Oh, you can't know exactly these things. Maybe they went in the lymph nodes. You want me to make it go far and check the lymph nodes?" And I'm very easy. I'm not afraid for doctors. I'm not afraid for all these things.
We're going to stop here. Hanfling. Today is May 20th, 1996.
And so I went through the operation by Dr. Kinney and so on, and everything is fine. They didn't find anything. They didn't have to give me anything. Thank God for that.
What advice do you have for your children and your grandchildren, future generations?
Hard question. Believe in God. And you should go the right way. I mean, you have the right, give him a religious education, and because this is the only one way. How the Jewish people survived is only because they sent the kids to the yeshivas to learn all the time. So this is the only one thing. This is my message to my children. They should do the same thing. What I did in the worst time, where I didn't have even to pay yeshivas, I paid all the way, except for a doctor. He had to pay for himself already, had scholarships, and the other children, just for college, I paid for everybody. This is for my children. And for all the people, for the rest of the people who never were in the camp, they shouldn't judge, they shouldn't say if it's right or not, and they shouldn't make any comments because there wasn't so. That's why it came this because I hear a lot of rabbis didn't say that something like this, because it wasn't enough religious people. This is nonsense. They don't have to be the protector from God. They don't have to tell the reason from God. It happens. No, but you can ask questions, but there's no answer for it. That's all. Yes. This is for all the people.
Thank you on behalf of the Solar Foundation.
Thank you. And whatever I left off, I'm going to make up another time. This picture that you see here here, this is a picture from Osvaldo, and the street is Pilsudski. On the picture it says Sandomierska, but this was probably before the First World War, and in my time, this street was Litsa Pilsudski. Now, our house is near in the right side, near the two-story building with the red roof. The middle from this, say, two houses. This is our house. In the front was the store, and the back from this house, you can see it, was the sukkah. And the picture I got it from Richard Coyne. She came here maybe the beginning of the First World War, and she had a card, a postcard. This was made by the government. She had this. The father sent this picture from Wien, from Austria. And when I saw this picture, I expected the meeting. I made a copy of it. So that's the way this picture came to me. This picture is from my sister Zifala. She's the older sister. When she went to the Organ, she was 27 years old. And I got this picture from a friend who left home. She went to America. And I made research from all the friends for my sister, and I found out that lady had a picture for my sister. So I asked the lady, and she sent that over to me a copy. In this picture, you're going to see the Radomska Rebbe. And why I show this picture here, because I was a student in his yeshivas, and I did a lot of education from his yeshiva, because he founded, he paid all the other yeshivas. So his name is Rabinovich. This picture you see me, Hersh Hanfling, and this was made after the liberation, about a couple of weeks after the liberation. The reason I made it just to show what kind of uniform we were wearing in certain concentration camps. Not in all of them. In some of them we had plain clothes and with signs, crossed with paint, but this was in certain concentration camps. On this picture, we see Oberschaft Pire Pipes. But everybody knows he was the voice between all the cassette SS. And I forgot to even mention the Altholz camp. Whoever was in this camp knows what the Altholz camp was. This document shows that I am the only one owner on this property with my Zaidi, the Hefli Goldreich had. The house was taken off, because it was a wooden house, but the property belongs to me because I'm the Yoirish from my mother, because this was my mother's father's property.
How did you get this document?
I got it from my brother. Went 1946, beginning 1946 to Osvaldo to sell our house, but he didn't sell. But he took it out from the authorities. He took out this document, which shows that I'm the only one man that belongs to me, this property, and it still belongs. And this picture shows me Hersh Hanfling, and this little boy is Jeremy Arbus. It's unbelievable. He survived the concentration camps from Budzini all the way camps. He's now in Israel. with his mother and two sisters. There's very seldom something like this, but he survived. This is a document that I came from Prussian Schachtes, Commander von Flossenburg, with my number on this document. And this was in Germany, they found it in the archives of it. This is an original document that I got from Tzvi Hersh recently, I think 1993, that my Zadie and my Bobby had a boy born when they were 29 years old. And in the name from my Bobby was Vlate. I didn't know because I didn't know her. And the maiden name was Blumenthal. This picture shows, this is made in Israel. It shows my cousin, one cousin from the whole family. This is the only one left over with her husband and the daughter. I am on the right side, Hersh Hanfling. The other one is Abram Newhouse. The other one is Esther Newhouse. The husband is Abram Newhouse, and the daughter is Bella. They have another daughter, but she wasn't in the picture. This picture, I made it last year, December, in Belgium, in Amsterdam. I was on the bar mitzvah for my niece. My niece lives in Belgium. On the picture, you can see in the middle, in the front, this is my brother, Moshe Yaakov Hanfling. And to the left from my brother is Betty Hanfling, and my niece is over there someplace on the top, and I am over there too. and then my brother lives in Montreal. It was a very nice affair in a hotel. In this picture you can see on the top my son Mordechai Hanfling, or Mark Hanfling, and Lynn. And on the right side from Mark, the little boy is Naftali. And in the left side is Rina and Shana, and Aviva is behind in the front from Lynn, and Zahava. This is the youngest one. On the right side, to Aviva, sitting my mother-in-law, Sarah Asher. This is the mother from my wife, Miriam, and she just passed away last year, a day after Pesach.
How old
was she? Old, 97 years old. This is the picture you can see my son, Philip Hanfling, and his wife to the right, Tessie, with her daughter, Katie, and their daughter, Zisa. And they have another picture. This picture is my son's Philip and Tessie's boy, a little son.
His name?
His name is in Jewish is Yeshua Nachman, and the English name is Eric. He's only in this picture 2.5 weeks old. In this picture you can see my daughter, Rosalind, and her husband, Jeff Slipoy, and near Jeff is Ari. Ari David actually in Jewish, Ari we call him, and below Ari is Chaviva, and the little one is Tova Hana. Well, this map I made it special because the kids bothered me I should tell him the story, and I couldn't tell him the story, so I made this map special, and I marked down the road to where I went in the time from the war. Actually, my son was Radu, where I was born, and from Radu I went to Berlin, and Berlin, Mielec, Jelička, Plaszow, Schwachwitz, Terezicka. It's marked down with Kind. Now, the candle, what you see over there, this is to mark down that this is the Yortzeit, the day when I have to say a prayer for them, because this is the day when they took away my family to Belgium's crematorium. And on the top you can see it, Habeit Mishnayim. This is in Hebrew talking to God. Look what happened to our people, and still we believe in you. And look, they killed 6 million Jews. And over there you can see in Hebrew, I mentioned that I'm going to remember all these people, what you see over there. My sister Risala, then Zlate, Hanne, Reisel, and Mordechai. This is the whole family what they went into the oven in Belgium. And here on the bottom you can see how was there put on the age. This is some kind of from Tanakh, from the Bible, that I'm the only one safe from the fire.
Could you introduce your wife?
Me too. My name is Hersh Hanfling, and this is my lovely wife, Mirala. We used to call her Mirala. And if I survived with her about 43 years, I think I'll survive another 120 years.
Would you like to say something?
Well, I mean, we went through, bad and good, I first Hashem for that, we cannot complain. We have a nice family, we have nice children, grandchildren, and we just have a lot of nachas. Enjoy from everybody. Do well, enjoy.
I think we are proud, and because we got nice children, really nice children, and we have a lot of knowledge in them, and I really thank the camera for making this picture, because I don't think they have a picture like this for many years. So, thank you very much.
Thank you both on behalf of the Shoah Foundation.
Okay.